Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Day 9, daily number 616, Part 2, where we learn to be a better gamer. Ooh. Thanks for tuning in on this late night. It's 9 p.m. I know that's past your bedtime. And no follow-up was had. But there's some guy who's like, it's past my bedtime? And I'm like sitting there, I'm like continuing to death stare into the camera. He's like, oh fuck. Because I can say those words. It's my show. Hey, production. You know, in part 1, we got the chance to see what this style is, why it is so good. DeMuslim, an excellent player, no slouch whatsoever, and yet was still bested by it. But we're going to see it get bested itself as we hop into this game right here. This is going to be Teja versus Minigun, and let's talk a little bit about timing. We're going to watch 2 games, or if I'm feeling extra bold, we're going to be watching 3 games. Oh, I'm crazy. By the way, production, if you could just cut back to my face and back into the game again. Let's go back into the game. Oh my god, that's right there on point. I saw a fellow in production. He was looking away. He was like stretching, and I was like, quickly back to me. And he was like, and like hop back into the game. And I was like, and then get back into the game. And he's like, what do you want from me? And I was like, we're over. I'm moving out. He's like, we don't live together. And I'm like, move in with me. You know I should be teaching you StarCraft, but that's okay. This is the game number 1 from Group B between Teja and Minigun. Let's note how many similarities there are. I chose 2 extremely similar looking openings that are going to pan out slightly differently, right? Here we see another assimilator was thrown down. At the same time, there's 2 in here instead of 3. I'm not going to be reading into that too much because notice that combined, it's not 2 in each. In fact, the 3rd probe is going to be heading into this geyser quite quickly. But broadly speaking, we see that there's a single zealot that popped out and other stalkers coming up. And as you heard me say before, in a manner where I did not lie, if you want to scout with this mothership core, a great way to guarantee that scout is to get the stalker and the zealot to cover its entry into deep space. Nexus coming up. Hey, what do you know? 3 in each gas geyser. Because what? We're going to be getting the Oracle play. Indeed, we see Teja doing kind of a different build. He did go gas first. And Minigun will be kind of sneaking up in there. Runs right on out again. We see mines. We see marines. And here is part 1 of the struggle time that one will have with this Phoenix Colossus play. Oracle is getting ready to get started to harass. This Robo is getting started at 6, so we can start the Robo Bay at 7, so we can begin the Colossus at 8, so that it will pop out at 9 minutes. Standard timing. 1 minute plus 1 minute plus 1 minute is 3 minutes. Hence 6 goes to 9. I think everyone understands that. But this means this mothership core is the key linchpin of our defense leading up to that period of time. So we can already see this little mariner force cutting off the mothership core. We see the scan from Teja going, does this guy really go Oracle every... Oh, God, he does. And this push can be quite a pain in the bum. So this shove is broadly designed to force a player to waste a photon overcharge, but we see that there are no probes here. This was very common for Minigun throughout. He actually has very nice timing. Notice his warp gate finishes just in time to get a 3rd stalker out. If you had a bunch of sentries here, you would be kind of screwed. You would have to spend the photon overcharge, but of course, this is why we love our stalker. But the inadvertent thing that it caused was these geysers to be quite late. These geysers have to go down super early. We don't have enough gas to get down our Robo Bay. We don't have that. Of course, mines will deny this offense in the same way that DeMuslim's turret denied that offense. You can be a super badass and just notice this little bit of dark patch where the mine doth lie. Let's go ahead and speed these moments up. I almost pooed myself there. Very late geysers. There is the Robo Bay going down. We're going to have 2 more gates coming up. Similar. How many observers do we have? Just 1. Why not 2? Because we got our gas delayed. So we're saving gas. An in theory smart play. Soon enough, we wind up losing this. And what do we see? This push tends to strike just before 10 minutes. Teja's going to take this out. Teja doesn't have stim and combat shield yet. That's completely fine. Teja is adding on more barracks, also completely fine. What do you know? Getting the Colossus up, speeding things. This looks very similar. But let's watch the behavior of Teja's units after round 1 of pressure. So first of all, generally good bookkeeping. Going for this command center. Leaving these units here not only is going to be very effective, but it's going to be very safe. This totally no way is going to drop me. All right. These 2 Colossus do totally know he's going to attack me at the front. How can Minigun attack? He can't. Damn it, you caught my signaling. Damn you, production. Minigun can't attack. So this means that Teja kind of has free reign to do 2 key things. Expand and get upgrades, which I lumped into one thing, and get into whatever good position he wants to. Let's hop back up into this bad boy. He can position these here, he can position these here, he can walk most of his army up here. There's really not that much that Minigun can do in the now. And of course, we see back in this main base, but a single engineering bay. The biggest thing that Teja's going for is production facilities. He's getting another starport. He's not favoring huge upgrades because there's some pretty key vulnerabilities that will be coming up. Phoenixes grow exponentially in terms of effectiveness. 10 Phoenixes is way better than 2x as good as 5 Phoenixes. This push at the front, doesn't that look one-sided? Didn't it look like Minigun just Raffle smacked Teja? He gave him the serious mollywomping, but no. A single Phoenix gets picked off. And we're going to be seeing a lot of that. Look at this great control that Teja does. Just locking his opponent out. Look at this. Trying to engage. Trying to keep the Phoenix count low. That's all we really need to do. And look at this. Target firing the Phoenixes. More engagements. Look at this units lost tab. This is going theoretically horrible. I would do air quotes, but, you know, I don't think I can actually make production do that. Let's see if they can do it really fast here. Horrible. Okay, one more time. Horrible. Dude, you can do it faster than that, all right? This is going horribly for Teja. That's fine. 3rd time was the charm. That was the best yet. This looks like it's going horrible for Liquid Teja. But note, the Phoenix count is at a dismal 3. What do we have to protect the Colossus? We have some stalkers, some sentries, and then we don't have any charge. Our ground units are going to stink against this Bioforce. We don't have any storm, we don't have anything else. It's just this constant aggression. This constant gosh dang, gosh doodly aggression. So we're going to speed it up, speed it up, speed it up, speed it up, speeding it up. Still sticking around. We're actually not seeing that many drops. Funky, right? Funky. That was one of the big strengths of Minigun, is that he's good against big drops, but interestingly enough, small, tiny little drops are going to be a pain in the ass. Now, most commonly we see players apply pressure at this 3rd base, but this is a wider space and will actually suit our purposes much, much more strongly. Almost one-shotting. Trying to sneak in there. Now, see, we tease this as Teja, but we're seeing also Expo going down. Production Structures has 8 barracks and is macroing like a beast. Also in production, we see the 2-3 upgrades coming. Look at that little tiny force that darted forwardeth. Just this constant aggression, constant sniping down of the Phoenix, constant forcing of the Protoss player to spend all the gas, the denial and the delay of this expansion means that soon enough, 22 Vikings are out on the field. And this is one of the funky aspects of this play. There's actually not a ton of Marine Marauder. There really is not. But this is the big key to this entire force working. And the Phoenix is the big key to keeping our true key, staying alive. And amidst of all that, there's some unusual things that are hurting. 11 warp gates, that's a pretty good amount. But in the Templar count, we see that it's quite low. Very regularly, we will see a player at 10 to 12 Templar. Actually, hell, even if these didn't morph in there, we'd see the Protoss have 10 to 12 Templar. 3-3 would be done already. This attack can win. We saw Evil Geniuses Alive take the big win by doing this. This attack from Taja can win, but primarily it's designed to completely mess up the Protoss' composition. Okay, so all the Colossus are down. Remember that moment where you'd always see all the Templar with Storm swing in? Yeah, this is what really hurts. All those Phoenixes that Taja picked off early, Minigun had to devote more gas into getting those. All this pressuring at the front, continuing to attack, focused more gas answers from Minigun. So now, after this attack, he just doesn't have any Templar. I don't care how great the Phoenix Colossus combination is, it will eventually lose to enough Vikings. So this means that still the matchup, Protoss needs both Storm and Colossus. That is the need for Protoss in the late game. So I mean, in a sense, Minigun doesn't exactly lose here. But then as these refloods come in, look at this, 2 Templar that are going to have Storm. They totally are. Taja can win just slowly by attrition. Again, a lot of the times, Taja will win in that direct engagement. But now Taja has a super easy task. He builds medevacs out of both of these. He churns like, oh wow, does he actually have, wow, 3 starports, nice. Churns basic units out of these, and just rallies. We actually don't even see that many ghosts, because we don't need ghosts. Ghosts are good in huge battles, but in these mid-sized battles, where he's not going to have a lot of Storm, we don't need that. And then 2 Storms, no problem. We can eat Storms, because we are producing tons of medevacs. That's actually where most of Taja's gas is going, is into medevacs. In small numbers, we just don't need that many ghosts. Just medevacs and Marines and Marauders. Also, one other thing to note. I talked so much about the gas that's being eaten up by Colossus and Phoenix to reduce the number of Templar. This also reduces the number of robo-facilities that Minigun can possibly have. Very often, in late game, you'll see 2 or 3 robo-facilities down. But Taja's constant pressure just never let that happen. All this pressure from Taja just messed up the mineral-based aggression from Minigun. Or excuse me, all the mineral-based aggression from Taja screwed up Minigun's gas. He had to devote all his gas to Colossus and all his gas to Phoenixes. So there was no gas left over for Templar. There was no gas left over for additional robo-facilities. And now we just have a standard-looking TVP, where Taja's taking his 5th base and continuing to deny this one. Now as we're getting huge, we see more Ghost step in, and this is just standard. This is not even an analysis of Phoenix Colossus anymore. This is just an analysis of good play. Dropping, hurting, wounding, etc.ing. But we're going to go ahead and step into, even without returning to my face. No, that's fine, we can stay here. God, it was so well timed of me. You see it, like, right as it was transitioning, I was like, don't do it. And production was like, and I'll be like, I quit. I'm not coming back anymore. I'm not working. Lag. We're going to see an even swifter example. Where is this game? Where is this game located? I can't find the minigun stage. Perfect. Perfect. We're going to load into yet another game where we're going to see the struggles that this Colossus play has just after the Colossus Phoenix play. So we're going to hop into this game. I'm going to go ahead and make everything all purty and locked in together. We talked a lot about the vulnerability of Colossus Phoenix in the mid and late game. The aggression from Teja forces more Phoenixes, forces more Colossus to be constructed, and then it's very easy for us as Terran to flood with tons of Vikings, never providing the opportunity for our opponent to switch his tech up. But another tremendous benefit of our aggression is that Colossus Phoenix is quite weak. Is quite weak to a lot of mid-round aggression. Right after the 10-minute mark, there was a drop that occurred. I sped on through it because the opening is relatively irrelevant. 5 workers killed off. It's all fine. It's all good in the hood. Got some aggression. Woo! This isn't even a hyper-aggressive opening from Teja. It's kind of designed to get third command center. We're going to see the medevacs pop up. But again, this mid-range aggression... Actually, how much more did he kill off? Just 2. Just 2 still? Yeah, just 2. So great, we have the Phoenixes coming out. Especially in big open spaces like this, it's very easy to keep the Phoenix count quite low. Marauder count is still high. I think there's no reason to over-marine. But we certainly do have plenty of Marines. So let's just take a look at the gas from Minigun. We talked about gas going into late game. But let's look at the gas now. Pretty dang low. And in fact, if we want to build another Phoenix, we're going to be burning through the rest of our gas. I'm just going to go ahead and play this at just a regular speed. Minigun has a very technical defense. Pulling this Oracle back, observer to spot. Blur, blur, blur. Moving on up, building turrets in the bases. Rallying even to this backside. Still, we see this is quite low, this gas count. If we wanted to make another Phoenix, we would drop 100. If we wanted to build another Colossus, we'd drop 200, and we'd be broke again. So watch these pushes. Oopsie daisies. I thought I hit the P button, but I was wrong. In this engagement, we're going to see the Marauders, the really long-range ones. The Marauders will be able to deal with sentry force fields quite a bit better. But watch this. Marauders lead to try to pick stuff off. Medevacs are fairly kept back. But then the Marines that are at the back have the opportunity to dart up, and we can see that they will target these Phoenixes. There goes one. Mothership Core also goes down. This is not really a Viking-focused pressure. This is just designed to pick off Phoenixes. We can still see, Teja's not trying to suicide to kill off Phoenixes. But he is eliminating those one at a time. Now, you have to think about this from Minigun's point of view. If he loses 2 or 3 Phoenixes, in his mind he goes, oh my god, I have nothing to protect these Colossus from the Vikings. So of course he's going to build more Phoenixes. Of course he's going to be continuing to build the Colossus. But it's even hard to throw in some Stalkers because of how gas-heavy Phoenix Colossus is. Right now is probably the first opportunity that you could have as Minigun to build some of those extras. And of course he's... Don't forget about these sentries getting real low on energy. So we see the stim again. These Vikings happy to take away shots at these Phoenixes. Happy to trade. Because you will note that while Minigun is going to be making Phoenixes 1 at a time, Teja is going to be making them 4 at a time. And yeah, I know that Vikings take 42 seconds, so fine, we'll say that it's 3 at a time Vikings versus 1 at a time Phoenixes. And in these continued small engagements, there's just not quite enough gas to flood a bunch of extra sentries. The continued target firing down of those. Hilariously enough, the last thing to die is the Colossus. It's so easy to overbuild tons of Phoenixes to be able to deal with this that Teja's just constant, relentless aggression was more than enough to overrun this front. I'll actually pull back before this fight began just to note this yet again. The Colossus are the last thing to go out. We've talked about the lack of Twilight Council, and we're really seeing this come into play. The Zealots hardly do anything. The Stalkers hardly do anything. It is all up to this Colossus and all up to this Phoenix. So, I mean, we're essentially going in uncontested. These Colossus will almost exclusively target the Marauders, which gives all the rest of our units complete free reign to shoot down these Phoenixes. Look at these Marines actually cutting over a little bit. And this, I think, was the huge difference between the series between Alive and Minigun, Tasia and Minigun, as compared to Demuslim and Minigun. Demuslim had a tendency to stay back, to stay a little more passive, not really get in Minigun's face as much, because the biggest restricting factor is, of course, going to be that that gas. I think I did it. I think that was great. I think I nailed that. Wow. Tomorrow, we will, of course, be doing a daily post-WCS, as well as Thursday. Friday will just be the regularly scheduled Day 9's Day Off. Fun Day Mondays coming up. Please submit to me a replay of you winning with mass Baneling drops. However you'd like to interpret that, it is correct. Submit it to Monday at day9.tv. And I'm done. Thanks for watching the show, guys. I'll see you next time.